What's up, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I'm Star Wars competitor Andres Cabrera.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
3 matches to go over this week. 2 Intergeekdom, another Star Wars tournament. The final, in fact, between myself and Andres Cabrera.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that match last, obviously. For obvious reasons. But before we get into the matches, I want to touch a little bit on a couple of announcements that we got with the singles tournament coming up. The massive singles tournament. And who's been announced. I mean, There's obviously so many that have been announced. I don't know if you have the graphic. I should have asked you to bring
Good
the graphic.
Lord.
Sorry.
All right, we can edit this out. Can we edit this out?
We can edit it out.
All right. I think I have something. So there was a graphic made. Well, I think there was an original person that made it, and I want to say their name was like Clay or something like that. I want to give credit where credit's due. But there was somebody who made like a whole graphic of it in the Facebook group, if I'm not mistaken. R. Clay Johnson, maybe? So, yeah. I mean, we don't really have to go through every single person.
No.
But, yeah, it looks like, for the most part, I think almost at least 35 to 36, if not all 36 people have been confirmed. Yeah. It looks like there is, obviously, 4 people from each faction.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that... I know I've seen some, chatter around like, oh, you put in this person and not that person?
It was,
I know.
It was Rachel Silverstream.
She was one of them.
Yeah, and it's like...
listen, first of all, how do you know these people have their schedules lined up?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there is real life behind these competitors, so... Their whole life is not the Schmoedown, believe it or not. So, because they're not in it doesn't necessarily mean because their manager was like, "Oh, screw you." It could have been.
Yeah, one is better than the other. It's
not a matter of, well, I put you in because I think you're better than this person who I didn't put in. It could be a number of things. So, keep that in mind.
Yeah, and also I think there's the option of for the Finstock Exchange it was like Roka and Riley are gonna be in it depending on who has the belt.
Yeah, it says Dangerous Dan Merle is in it. If Roka or Merle are the champ, then Sabrina Ramirez will be in. Yeah. And there's a note like that for the usual suspects as well. So, because Ethan Irwin, so anybody that's in one of those number one contender matches has a little caveat next to their name.
So I just find it very interesting that we have basically a full roster, and I don't think we got the bracket just yet because they got to. No, they got to confirm for seeds and who gets what. Especially we have to wait for these number one contender matches and these title matches to pan out and see, because that really determines where you go in the bracket. So
yes,
I just wanted to touch on that really quick before we get into the matches, but because. Gonna be it's gonna be 4 matches a week.
Oh, it's something ridiculous, and yes, please. Yeah. So,
I mean,
not
as
a problem.
As a fan, it's like, oh man, give me all the Schmoedown. But as a commentator on it, it's like, oh my
that's God. A lot of stuff to talk about. But you know what? Fine by me.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the first match. We're gonna talk about Barbarian versus
John Humphrey. Humphrey, singular, I think.
Singular, yes.
I think. Craig the Barbarian.
Just Barbarian.
And then John, the Mad Hatter Humphrey, right? One Humphrey, singular. So, Barbarian from the Finstock Exchange, John Humphrey from the Mercs. Quirky Merkies.
Yes.
So, Intergeekdom, round 1. It ended up 4-8 in favor of Craig. So, both hit their snags.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through
Humphrey struggled a little bit more in the first than Barbarian did, but Barbarian, just talking to him and just looking at his matches, he's like, yeah, he strives to be perfect every single time.
It's of course.
It's harder in your geekdom because it's not his
forte.
It's he wants to be a multi-division competitor.
Yeah.
But it's he's clearly much better in singles because he's perfect in singles.
Yeah.
Right now, one match, but still.
I mean, he can swing it in Intergeekdom. There's no doubt about that. I mean, this is his second match that he's won.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously he's doing something well enough.
But I think watch out for him in the singles tournament. That's all I gotta say. Because
and John, I mean, we're only in round 1. We're talking about it like it's over.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, I guess let's just continue with that until we get to those summaries. So round 2, Craig goes first. He gets Wizarding World. he took it because he kind of wanted to make a point. Like, I struggled with it last time. Let me show you that I've gotten better.
Yeah.
He did have to go to multiple choice 3 times. He did get all 3. There were no steals.
Yeah. So perfect round 2. Not a.
It went well because he didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
but I know that in his mind he's probably like, I have to go to multiple choice. Yeah. It's not perfect if I have to go multiple choice.
That's the kind of competitor he is. He wants to just like run through all the categories. And he puts in just again behind the scenes stuff. I know that he's so much work in.
A madman behind the scenes.
If I could tell you what he's doing.
That's up to him to tell you, but he's a beast.
No, but because we actually talking. He's been saying like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I have planned.
This is how I'm preparing.
This is how I'm preparing. I'm like,
wow,
dude.
No
wow.
Good for you.
It's like, wow. I thought I was hitting the grind well. Like, wow.
So then John goes and he gets. It's a category that starts with an M and ends with an E. He gets a Middle Earth.
Talking about the first word.
First word. So he goes to multiple choice 3 times. Yeah. Also, he gets 2 of them. He misses one of them, but it was not stolen by Craig. So by the end of round 2, it was 10-15 in favor of Craig, the Barbarian. Sorry.
Yeah,
Barbarian's his real name.
Because we've talked to himself, John. Sorry.
Round 3, 2 point for Mr. Mad Hatter himself. He gets DCEU. He gets who plays Aquaman's father. And it sucks because you know that he was on the right track.
Yeah.
You know that in his head, it was somewhere buried in his head that he knew it. And he was like, it was the guy that they made Boba Fett. It's like, you're almost there. You're thinking, I know that you're thinking of the right guy. You're almost there.
Yeah. And for all we know, it's just a name that he just can't. Because for the
I mean, Tamora is not a very
but for the love of
common name.
For whatever reason, I can never remember the name of the guy that plays Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight.
Oh my God, I don't know why it's in my head, but usually I can't either. But Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah,
usually I cannot think of that man's name ever.
It's
the guy.
It's Harvey Dent.
He's
Harvey Two-Face Dent.
Got blonde hair.
Yeah, he was in Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah,
that guy. I just can't pull. See, you just told me. I still forgot it.
Dent for life. Harvey Dent. What was his slogan?
I believe in Harvey Dent.
I believe in Harvey Dent. Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, so maybe he's one of those names. He's like, I know who you're talking about. I just can't. I just don't know his name.
Yeah, and Tamora Morrison.
I mean, he's not like a huge name actually.
He's not a huge name.
People know of him.
Yeah.
So.
And also, it's not a very common name, so it's like. Ugh.
Yeah.
So he missed that one, so it stays with him for his 3-pointer. His 3-pointers from Star Wars, and it is The Last Jedi. We'll talk about this briefly. We won't dwell on it for too long. Can't make any guarantees because I've said that before and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
But in The Last Jedi, it was a quote. It was a question like, "Who said hope is like the sun?" Blah 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 blah. He missed it. He said Luke, and I saw when Andrew and I were watching it. I was like, "Oh." Well, it's Leia's saying. And then, Andrew and I kind of talked about it like, ooh, there's kind of a couple possible questions depending on how you look at this question.
And Adam Witt went to social media and he's like, hey,
did anybody else notice
this? And it's like,
yes.
I see where the question writers are going for it, but it's like, just change 2 words. It's like, who said to Holdo? Because Leia never says it in the movie.
Because that's where we are in Star Wars questions at this point.
That's just the unfortunate thing that this tournament has shown that, like...
Because the whole thing behind it is, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But the whole thing behind it was, the question was like, who said it? And in the movie, the people that physically said it out loud, Holdo said the first part of it.
And Poe finishes it off.
Poe said the second half of it. So you could argue that Holdo and Poe said it. But really, it was Leia's saying. So if you say who said it, literally Holdo and Poe did. But if you were looking for Leia, then she didn't say it.
She didn't say it.
It was just, she was referenced as being the holder of the saying.
She's the one that told Holdo this. It's the saying that she has. So I get where they're trying to go for it, but it's like...
It wasn't...
The way the question was worded...
It was inconsequential because he said Luke anyway. Luke, so. If he would have said Poe or Holdo and gotten it wrong... Then maybe there would have been a little bit more of an issue. More controversy, but he said Luke,
he got it wrong. He absolutely got it wrong. Based off of what the movie is and what the quote was on the answer sheet. So
yeah, I don't think Luke was in The Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, he was.
Oh shit! Edit that out. Edit that out. Can we know?
Wait, in there.
I forgot that was the one that he. Damn it. Edit that out. Wow. 5 points. What was I thinking of?
I don't know. I think you're thinking of. You might be thinking of Force Awakens, but he's in that one too. But for like 5
he's in
seconds.
all of the sequels. What was I doing?
I don't know. Your brain farted.
I guess. Thank God I wasn't in a match just then. Wow. How embarrassing. 5-pointer. I swear I know Star Wars. Back to the Future. How many years was Marty's daughter sentenced to prison in part 2 for whatever she did?
Yeah.
I think he said 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, he knew that he wasn't going to get it. It was 20. He missed it. So the match ended 10-15 in favor of Craig with a TKO. So
big 4 points.
Big 4 points for the exchange.
Big 4 points.
And honest, I think they asked Humphrey after the match was over, like, "Hey man, so what does this mean for you in IG?" And I don't think he said, "I'm done." You know?
Yeah, no, it's just this is his first swing.
He had a win.
Yeah.
And even somebody who lost in round 1 doesn't mean that you're like, "Oh, get out of IG."
Yeah.
It's just didn't go your way that time.
Yeah.
So just because he has a win and somebody in a round 1 match got, eliminated. I'm not trying to say that if you don't have a win in IG in this tournament, then I'm going for.
Things just didn't go that.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is, to his credit, he does have a win in this IG tournament. Yeah. So both Real Rejects are such a breath of fresh air in this league. In the league. Yeah. Not even just in this division, just in the league. Mm-hmm. So I hope that I know we'll see. Whoa. Oh my God. Sorry, everybody. So I know that we'll see him again in not singles.
Singles? I think they're in there, right?
Maybe.
Oh no, because the Mercs have Shazam, so they'll probably be in. We'll see them in team. We're gonna see them.
Mercs have Bibiani, Brendan, Perry, and Tim Franco. So the Real Rejects aren't in the singles tournament.
Yeah.
We'll see them again in teams. Yeah. Obviously.
And to their credit, again, they're a very charismatic team. They're popular because they are funny and people they love their characters. These are the kind of and
they're effortless characters.
And these are the type of characters that need to be in the Schmoedown because you have people like Smets and Kalinowski that take
very
it
intense.
So intense. And so I'm going to throw my hat into that ring too because I take it very seriously.
And not to say that the Real Rejects don't take it seriously. They don't,
but like you have personalities like us that
that's just where you gravitate to.
That's what we gravitate to. But then we need those breath of fresh air. So when you do have people that go up against people like Kalinowski, Smets, and myself, you have these other people that can just
bring a little levity.
Bring a breath, like you said, a breath of fresh air and lighten the mood a bit. Because like you look at all my matches, I'm so freaking serious all the time, and I can easily bring people down by watching my matches.
Well, I mean, if every single person was like
deadpan serious all the
mad
time,
every match, then it would probably get exhausting. So it's good to have a wide range of different personalities.
It's great to have personalities like that.
So John Humphrey, he's not going anywhere. It's whatever. The fact that he lost this, it's what it is. It happened.
It happens.
I hope that he's not done with IG. He shows promise. He knows. I think he knows Harry Potter really well. Like he knows his stuff.
Yeah, it's just you gotta maybe polish up a couple things.
Yeah,
and but Craig coming in hot, man. He's a definite threat to several divisions now.
I don't think this IG match probably didn't go the way that he wanted it to, even though it resulted in a win. It probably felt like a loss, which we can relate to as well.
Yeah,
personally and whateverly. So, but Craig brings home 4 points to the exchange. So kudos to both competitors.
Yeah. So, and next on for him is the winner of the Chance Parker match, right?
Yes, that's next week.
It's on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's another announcement, is that Christian came out and said that, I'm not sure, I don't know why, but there was some kind of a scheduling update that I believe that the Chance and Parker match is now debuting on Saturday on the Skybound channel during the Skybound Expo. Yeah. And then,
the mic.
Well, I don't want to spoil the next match we're about to talk about, but another match debuts on Sunday, and we'll talk about that.
I think it has almost a lot to do with the schedule of the expo because they're trying to bring in people from other venues and attract because it's Skybound is a sponsor or an investor, and they want to bring in people from other venues and make this Schmoedown grow. So that's why they're having scheduling differences.
Yes.
So so go ahead and move on to the next match with
a next Inner Geekdom match. Brandon the Hitman Hanna of the Burning Droogs versus Alex the Demon Damon of the Rock Stars. Little bit of an announcement here that Kenneth
that's right.
Knapsack was voted the
interim
manager,
yep.
the interim manager of the Droogs. So, and interestingly enough, he was brought in at the beginning of this match, and Brandon Hanna was like, "I don't need a manager. I don't want a manager. I'm just gonna manage myself."
I mean,
so Ken went, "All right, peace."
Big boy move. So
yeah, so Ken was like, "No skin off my nose. Let me go watch some baseball." So he peaced out. So round 1, they both missed 2 questions. The last question was a question about Green Hornet, and Brandon challenged it, saying, I don't remember his entire argument.
He's saying
to
that
be quite honest, but he said it's not an IG movie.
He said it stemmed from a radio show that became a comic book,
right?
And I think the reason behind it was like, it doesn't matter if it's a comic book movie or not. It was in, apparently there's this list of movies that were given to the competitors that, and if it's on this list, you might get a question from it. So,
and I guess Green Hornet was on that list.
And I guess Green Hornet was on that list.
That's embarrassing.
I
bet a manager would have known that.
That's pretty much news to me that IG competitors like, here are your lists. And I think it's fair because for any other division, it's kind of the same way. It's harder to do it with singles because it's like, here are the movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Star Wars is like,
study these ones.
Yeah, study these ones.
You don't need a list for Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. You know what the movies are. But on IG, it's like, well, just Transformers an IG movie? Is it on the list? I think the argument could be yes or no. I'm not sure.
I could see it.
Back to the Future is an IG movie. Yeah. Indiana Jones is an IG movie. I think they just took James Bond off of the list. So it's like, this news that there is an actual list of IG films is like, okay, that's good to know, because now you can't argue.
Not that it makes it easier.
Not that it makes it easier. It's just like, oh, okay, so there is this list.
It gives you a framework.
Yeah, and
with which to work.
Yeah, and then now there's just no things like, well, is this an IG movie or not? It's like, well, is
look
it on the
your list, bro. Check your email.
Yeah, check your email. Yeah.
So it got overruled.
Yeah.
So by the end of round 1, it was an 8-8 tie. Round 2, Brandon decides to go first. He gets spinner's choice. He picks Star Trek.
Oof.
I don't remember off the top of my head what Brandon considers to be his strength. I don't know if Star Trek is one of those things.
Maybe.
But not knowing off the top of my brain what he considers to be his strengths, I feel like that was like an interesting move, because we did see in Alex's last match that he ran through Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, it's always, I think, kind of a flex to pick something that your competitor knows, because it's like, oh boy, if you miss that,
you take it off the wheel for them, and
you take it off the wheel for them.
He
crushed
this.
Wrecked
I was like, wow.
He got a perfect round in round 2.
Star Trek is a deep category.
Yeah, and there were some of those questions. I don't know Star Trek for anything. I've seen one of the movies. I've seen
the newer
which one?
You saw the J.J. Abrams one.
Sure. And the only thing I remember about it was that Spock met himself, right? Because it was like an old Spock and a new Spock. Zachary Nope, that's Shazam. Zachary Quinto.
Yes.
Met other Spock. Older Spock.
Yes. R.I.P.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy?
Yeah. That was a while ago.
Leonard Nimoy?
Yeah.
Okay. Leonard Nimoy, R.I.P.
Yeah.
But that's the one I remember. Is that he met himself, but that's the only thing I remember. Yeah. Chris Pine was in it, I think. Was he?
He's Kirk.
Kirk. Yes. So
shows you how much he knows about Star Trek, people.
And even with that, I was like, those questions were deep. They
were. Some,
even I was like, wow, that was really impressive.
I mean, I'm not as deep into Star Trek as I am in Star Wars, but I know enough. I've seen a couple of movies. I enjoy the newer films, but I can get maybe 1 or 2 questions here and there in Star Trek. But it's like, even those, I was like, wow, good job, Hannah. That was
not me.
That was very impressive.
Anytime they ask, what movie was this? The only movie I ever say is Into Darkness, because that's like the only one that I remember the title of. So I'm not going into IG anytime soon. Yeah. So Brandon Hanna knocked it out of the park. He got a perfect round. It was a spectacular showing.
Yeah.
So Alex goes. He gets a Middle Earth.
And before we continue, I think we should remind everybody that you had Alex and I had Hannah. Mm-hmm. And
was that really?
Yeah, I think you had Alex, and I had Hanna.
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody.
So Alex got Middle Earth, and I think he likes those movies a little bit.
I mean, he did go.
He might have been in an exhibition match. So nobody's too surprised to know that guy, that boy got a perfect round. Also in Middle Earth, Galadriel and Gimli, Gandalf, Aragorn,
Prancing Pony,
Thandril, Boromir. So he got a perfect round.
Boromir's the only one you really know, isn't it? Like you always say Boromir.
I always say Boromir and Gimli.
It's the only two that you.
It's the only two. Aragorn. Saruman.
Yeah, and I would say, hey, let's do a watch along for patrons.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm sorry, guys. So I don't think
that's happening.
If we do a watch along to any of the Lord of the Rings, we have to split it up into 2 parts.
If you want,
we have to
a 3-hour video of me suffering and trying to scratch my eyeballs out with my fingernails. Let's do it. I'm going to watch trees make friends with each other for 4 hours. Yeah, sign me up. So Alex got a perfect round. 18-18, tie.
This is a good match.
It was a great
such a good match.
So round 3, Alex goes first. His 2-pointer, he gets a Punisher question. Mm-hmm. And take, that's all I can give you there. He got it right, though.
It was who played the Punisher in the 2003 Punisher? I think that's what it was.
Okay. Were you Jason Statham? No. He's a transporter. Right? Am I right?
You're right, but he never played the Punisher.
I know I'm right because I'm really good at this. So he gets it right. 2-pointer for Brandon. He gets weapons, vehicles, weapons, technology, vehicles, and magical objects.
Yeah.
What does Huntress use in Birds of Prey as a weapon or whatever?
Crossbow.
He got it. He got it.
Not to be confused with a bowcaster.
Not to be confused with a bowcaster.
Nope.
Bounce back to Alex for his 3-pointer. He gets DC. What's Lex Luthor's henchwoman in Superman the movie?
I mean, this one hurts because it's Tessmacher, right?
Sick.
It's because Luthor yells it like 50 times in that movie, and it's like, oh, Mrs. Tessmacher.
Is this an old movie?
It's the original Superman movie.
50s, 60s,
no,
70s, 80s?
No, the 80s.
80s.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. 80s. This is the one with Christopher Reeves.
Okay.
Oh my.
Never seen it. So, 3-pointer. 3-pointer.
As we look back here at my display.
Henry Cavill's my Superman, okay?
I mean, mine too. I mean,
Superman the movie. 1978.
78. Sorry, guys.
I was way off. Whoops. So 3-pointer for Brandon Hanna. He gets the Wizarding World, which I think is a place he feels pretty comfortable.
I think so,
if
too.
I'm not mistaken. Harry, Ron, and Hermione caught a plant creature. What was it?
I doubt that was the wording of the question.
I think it was exactly the wording.
I think that's the.
I think I took it word for word.
Are you serious? A plant creature? Is that what they called it?
Yeah. Brandon, you got Wizarding World. Harry and the other two, they caught a plant thing. What was it called?
He got it right.
It was probably Goblet of Fire, and it was right after they got out of potions class, right before they played Quidditch with the snitch. Golden snitch. Harry Potter. So he got it right. So it goes to Alex for his 5-pointer. And as the Schmoedown gods would have it.
Of course.
Alexander Damonus.
I'm pretty sure that's how my
gets
Alexander.
Star Wars. So he gets Star Wars.
Of course he does. It's Alex Damon. Of course he gets.
Of course he does.
No skin. I'm sorry, Alex.
We're joking, Alex. If you're even watching this, which you're probably not.
Well, he watched the last couple.
Maybe. If you're watching this, Alex, we love you.
You know we do. But
it's just hilarious that you got Star Wars for a 5-pointer.
Of course, if I was Hanna, I'd be like, oh my god.
Oh
of
my
course
god.
he gets Star Wars.
Of course he does. Oh my god. So he gets Star Wars.
And I don't mean to harp on this, but even Harloff is like.
Yeah, of course he gets Star Wars.
Of course he gets Star Wars.
As you know, the gods above would have it. So he gets Hugh Quarshie plays who? And not to brag, but I got this question right too. But who's asking? Who's keeping score? You know what I'm saying, ladies?
Who was it?
Hugh Quarshie, who Captain Kwarshpanaka, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, flashing red and blue lights with Padme and Theed. Am I right? Put me in there. So he gets it. No surprise to anybody. If he didn't get it, we would have a problem.
I will say that
I'm right though. They were the ones flashing lights.
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
I
cool.
will say that this is actually a more difficult question in the IG realm because I've said before the IG questions. Huh? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Picking stuff off my eye.
You had something in your eyelash, baby. That's what I'm here for.
You. But yeah, I've said it before. The difference between an IG Star Wars question and a Star Wars Division Star Wars question is vastly different.
Yeah, this one was, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, this one was like, well, okay, they're asking that. All right,
cool.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, but obviously he got it because it's Alex Damon. It's a Star Wars question.
Not surprising. I don't think anyone assumed anything different was going to happen. So he gets it. It goes back to Brandon Hanna for his 5-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Woof. Let me just say that. What Earth does Mysterio claim to be from in Spider-Man Far From Home?
God, this was a rough question. Because it's one of those passing quotes lines. Like they say, I believe I've only seen Far From Home once. I believe it said once in the film, and they never really addressed it again.
Never talk about it again.
They might here and there, but it's one of those things. Like, oh yeah, I'm from this place. And
anyways, on to the next scene.
Yeah, exactly. So it's.
I want to say, what was it, like Earth 833 or something like that?
Something like that. There's 8 and 3 in there, but he said like 55-33.
He had a number or two in there.
He was close.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, that was rough.
It sucks to lose on a 5-pointer like that.
It sure does.
So
yeah, he didn't get it. I think he said 5-3 something, 5-3-6 or something like that.
He had 5s and 3s in his number.
So he missed it. It ends up 23-25 in favor of Alex Damon.
It's a rough loss.
It is
a rough loss.
It absolutely is. But he definitely he played a great game.
He did.
So you can't deny that. Mm-hmm. He played a really good game. Mm-hmm. You know, and we make jokes about the challenge, but you know what? You
do what
you do what you got to do. I mean, you want to win.
Yeah.
So if you see an opportunity, why wouldn't you try? Mm. So going back to the scheduling announcement that Christian made, now that we know who won this match. So the winner of Kalinowski versus Zipper this Sunday the 19th at 2 p.m. PDT, the winner of Kalinowski Zipper will then face Alex Damon at some point in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah, so this match was, I mean...
It was great. It was toe-to-toe. It's a tie all the way to the end.
Yeah, and you have to take Alex seriously in this division now. You can't say like,
you can't just say, he's just a Star Wars guy.
He knows Lord of the Rings and he knows Star Wars and he did pretty good with the Star Trek. It's like...
He's doing pretty good overall.
He's doing really well in this tournament so far. Yeah. I mean, whoever comes out of the Zipper Kalinowski, I have Kalinowski personally.
Me too.
So say Kalinowski does get past Zipper. That's going to be a real test for Alex because
that's gonna
former
be a
two-time
big deal.
champ. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. But yeah, you can't look at Alex Damon anymore and go, oh, yep, just a Star Wars champ trying to swing it in an IG. It's like, no, he's a legit IG competitor now.
Yeah, definitely.
And he has a legit argument for King Geek. So to speak. So.
I said that to Andrew during the match. I'm like, yeah, Alex might be King Geek here.
I mean,
he might need to be given that title.
Because Hanna's no scrub.
No.
And he proved it in this match. And he just unfortunately got a tough
5-pointer.
He got blindsided by a tough 5-pointer.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
A bit. Yeah.
Twice. I can relate to that twice now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so great match. Alex is moving on. Hanna, we probably won't see for the rest of the season, right?
Because I don't think that he. Did I get rid of this one graphic? Yes, I sure did. Because I don't know that he was put into the singles,
and I don't think he's competing in teams. So, I mean, it happens sometimes.
Yeah. So the Burning Droogs, where are they? Yeah, no. For the Burning Droogs in the singles tournament, it's Bonnie Somerville, Alonzo Duralde, Whitney Seibold, and Jada Paramo. So we might not see Brandon Hanna for a bit.
Yeah. I mean, because the only other IG matches that are happening besides the tournament ones is the Smets Chandru, and then whoever is going up against for the title at Spectacular.
Yeah.
So Hanna's we're not gonna see him until next season, most likely.
Probably.
And that's the way. And that's the way it is for the Star Wars competitors as well. The only people that we're gonna see is.
And it makes sense because think about it. We're already almost at mid-July, so we haven't even touched teams in singles. So it actually kind of makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. So yeah,
that's that.
So let's go ahead and move on to my match. The finals of the Star Wars tournament between myself and Ace Cabrera.
Yes.
A lot of hype went into this one because obviously, like I was, looking at the brackets. Nobody saw Ace going this far into the tournament. They said maybe get past Schmoedown.
Yeah.
And then he's done after Ken. And every single week, every single of his matches, he's proved everybody wrong. His big win was against Laura Kelly.
That was a big one.
That one was the one that's like, all right, we have you. There's no way you can't take Ace seriously anymore because that was a big win.
Because you don't just you don't just pitch a perfect game out of coincidence.
And then on the other side of the bracket with myself, I mean, like it is basically. It's like people are like, I don't see Andrew getting past Scrimshaw, but if he does, he might go all the way. I beat Scrimshaw, I beat Molly, found myself in the finals, and then it happens. So let's just go over the match really quickly. I mean,
so round one, and obviously, Andrew the Hunter Dimalanta is representing the Finstock Exchange, and Andres Ace Cabrera is representing Swag. So round one. Ace only misses one question. He misses a question about who says
I have a very bad feeling about this. It's Han Solo. He says 3PO.
Oh, right. So he missed that one. It was only miss. Andrew got a perfect round.
Got the bonus.
Got the bonus question. So by the end of round one, it was 9-11. That's how it works.
Yes,
right?
9-11, and then both of us go perfect through our second rounds.
Yeah, Andrew got what?
I got a New Hope.
And he got and you ran through it. You got a perfect round. He got Ace got not the Force Awakens. He got the Phantom Menace.
Ran through that.
And he ran through that.
Although I will say that there is one question in his I think it was the first one that I was actually like,
oh yeah, that I was like, oh,
I was like, what? It's like the wording of the question wasn't that it was vague. It was like you
got to think a lot.
You really had to go through that whole second act to get that answer. It
was like what was Queen Amidala is shocked to find out, on Tatooine or something like that.
It took a while for my head to get there. It's like, what are they? It's like, oh yeah, this is the answer.
Yeah.
And had I gotten that question, it probably would have gotten me a repeat to get there.
Yeah.
At the very, very least, a multiple choice.
Yeah.
But my brain eventually got there. It's like, oh yeah, there's still Sliver in the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's what she's surprised about. But it just took a while. It's like, all right, they arrive on Tatooine, they see this, and then they go here, and then they go here, and then they go there. It's like, and they're talking. Oh, okay, that's what she's talking about. So it just takes a while to get there. So I gave him.
That was an interesting question.
I gave him a lot of credit for that. It's like, wow, he got there. He got to that without a repeat, and it's like, wow, that was a really good pull on his part.
Absolutely.
So.
So they both got a perfect round too. Mm-hmm. So that puts us into round 3, the betting round, because this was a 5-round number one contender match. Mm-hmm. So round 3, it was heroes and villains, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah.
And then the question was, a quotes question. Who said?
So assume everybody will betray you.
Oh,
and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Now, again, I just can't seem to get away from these sort of things.
Yeah.
With spelling.
Yeah. I wonder if they would have just accepted Beckett. I wonder.
They probably would have. And, I've ran into the problems like this, the absolute versus absolutes, Tidarium versus Tidarium. This one, I think, I'll admit, I didn't spell Tobias right.
Yeah. People were freaking out.
It's like, look at that. You should have got that wrong. I know who the character is. I completely know who Tobias Beckett is. I said the name right. People might say, you heard Ace say it first.
A lot of people said that, yeah.
I know who Tobias.
Wow, that was so dishonest.
You're kidding me, right? I'm all in the finals, and you want to question if I know who Tobias Beckett is? Come on. So I will say I completely misspelled the first name wrong.
Yeah.
And I believe Harloff was like, all right, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He knows who Tobias Beckett is. I'm giving him the points, and it came close to being challenged because I guarantee you that's what Winston was challenging at the end of the round.
Oh, for sure.
But the round had already ended, and he didn't get the challenge in time. And it's like, we can't challenge.
I just wonder what would have happened because, in all honesty, I feel like Beckett probably would have. They didn't say. Normally, the announcers will say, we need the first and the last name. Yeah. And they didn't say that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they probably would have accepted just Beckett.
Yeah, usually when they ask a question, say it's like, who is...
like Bodhi Rook. Yeah. There was a question about him at one point in some Star Wars match, and they were like, we need the first and last name.
Yeah.
And I don't believe they said that.
Because I think there is another character in Star Wars canon, or you can be confusing Rook with another character
maybe
in Star Wars. So it's like, we need the full name here because we need to make sure you're specifying it's this character. Mm-hmm. But there's no other character in Solo Star Wars story called Beckett. So it's also like, who does in Empire Strikes Back, who does this? And you say Veers.
Yeah, there's no other
Veers. There's no other Ozzel. There's no other Piet.
Yeah.
So they probably just gave me the benefit of the doubt. It's like, he knows who it is. It's Beckett. He has Beckett on his board. He said Tobias Beckett. We're giving him the points. But it is interesting if he got the challenge in.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I think they might have an argument for it because I misspelled Tobias wrong. I spelled it like Tabis.
Yeah.
And that's like Tabis.
Yeah.
So, but I said Tobias.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it.
But I mean, it's kind of like tit for tat because in the first round, one of the questions was who plays Enric Pride in the Rise of Skywalker, and Ace said Richard Grant, and then Andrew said Richard E. Grant. And it's like, there are other Richard Grants that are actors. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, well,
you gave him the benefit of the doubt. You give me the benefit of the doubt.
It's kind of like, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah. So, but like, had they would challenge it, they probably would have had an argument to take my points away. But it's like, I clearly know who the character is. So let's just move on. And they awarded me the points for it. So who knows what would happen if they would challenge it? But it's just, you'll never know.
So round 4. The notorious new speed round.
So what were your... Because this is the first time we're seeing this type of speed round implemented.
Yeah.
I've been on record saying I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple of issues with how certain things might pan out during it. But for the most part, I ended up sort of liking it because it gives you different opportunities for more points. It gives you, now there's not the pressure of you trying to buzz in first. But on the caveat, on the flip side of that, it takes away a little bit of a strategy. It leaves it a little bit more up to human error in some cases.
Absolutely, it does. It has its pros and its cons. It has its pros and its cons, and it's a different kind of pressure than the traditional speed round.
But for like for competitors like Kevin Smets, and people that could just run through questions really quickly, it's an absolute benefit. Yeah. And I can totally, and I do like that they're going to be maybe implementing saying the champion gets to whether choose you get to use the buzzers or use this new format.
Yeah,
that I like.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting.
I like that because it opens up new avenues, it opens up new opportunities. So I say keep it. It's just be careful of other things that might happen. That's my 2 cents. But before I get into what I was thinking during the speed round, I want to hear your thoughts on the speed round.
Well, I mean, I don't mind it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great format in theory, given the fact that this is our reality right now. Mm-hmm. Right now, we are kind of
confined to digital stuff.
Yeah, we're confined to this. We got to find a way to work around this digital thing. We got to find a way to make it work. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do the best we can. And I do believe that this was one of the best ways that we could handle this. Mm-hmm. So theoretically, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm down. Yeah. This is good. This works, and it's a fun, new, fresh way to approach it.
Yeah.
Do I have issues with some things that transpired during the speed round? Absolutely, I do. But it happened. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of all it is.
Yeah.
It happened. So I'll leave it at that.
Yes, but like the thing, looking back on this, because I did watch my speed round over and I watched Ace's speed round over, I will say that we talked about it all throughout the tournament. My biggest contention and my biggest improvement was slowing down and thinking about the questions.
Yeah.
And now that I went to the final and it's a 5-rounder and it's a speed round, we had to almost completely flip that around. It's like, get to the questions quicker.
Yeah.
And I think looking back on my game, this is my own personal looking back on on speed round. I do need to improve in that area. I do need to improve on getting to those answers quickly. Because,
but also, I mean, just to take a little bit of pressure off of you and Ace. This was both of your first times in a 5-round match, so you're gonna be a little bit jumpy. You're gonna be a little bit like, in your first speed round. So, just to give both of you some credit, it was your first time doing it.
Yeah.
So I think you both did great. And of course, there's gonna be room for improvement when it's your first time doing it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna throw in there as a bright light.
Yeah, and again, this is the first time they're trying it, and they did say going forward they're going to start the clock after the first question is asked, which is fair. So it's just unfortunate that it happened after the fact. So
what are you gonna do?
What we can do? It's the first time they're trying something like this. I can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
So, and thankfully it didn't have a huge impact on how the outcome of the match.
Well.
Yeah. So we'll go into the 5th round.
So
going into the 5th round,
it's going into the 5th round.
He's down by 1 point because
no, he's down by 2 because you both scored the same amount of points. It was 28-30.
Really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they recalc. Because I'm thinking of it initially that he was down by 1, but they recalculated and he was still down by 2.
So yeah. There's no need to get into like who missed what questions, but in the end of it, they both came out, I think, with the same amount of points, so it stayed at the same point gap. So I think it was 28-30 in 28-30 in favor of Andrew. So we get into round 5.
And then Ace misses 2.
Ace misses 2, which was a Phantom Menace question again, and it was what was in the original or in the prequel trilogy, what was the first character of the Zabrak species that we meet?
Yeah.
And he took a repeat. And he for some reason couldn't get there.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually submitted an answer, but it was Darth Maul. So he missed that one.
And he goes.
I don't remember what all of your questions
but he gets his 3.
He got his 3.
Got my 2.
You got your 2, then he got his 5,
forces me to get to answer my 5-point question.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the question was for his 5, but I do remember that the answer was Voodoo-Pella. So he gets his 5-pointer, and then Andrew gets his 5-pointer, and it was like the name of the droid that's torturing a Gonk droid in Return of the Jedi. So it was a repeat or 2 was thrown out there.
It was. I had 2. I only threw out 1 because I threw it out there just to be like, maybe it'll come to me. Maybe I saw it in one of my notes. Maybe I had at some point during my studying glossed over it. But then it's like after the repeat and after they got done reading it the second time, I was like, I don't know this. It was just
not there.
It's just not there. And I said it as much in my post-match interview is like sometimes they just slip through the cracks.
There's so many minute details.
We thought we had covered everything. We had thought that we'd gone through and gotten all those 12th moving out things, and it happened again. It slipped through. And there's a bunch of people out there in the comments, and Ken Knapsack actually addressed it on his stream. It's like it's a generational thing. Maybe Andrew just did because
Ken was saying that he thought he said that he knew that answer, and he thought that it was a quote unquote easier answer because every question is subjective. What somebody thinks is impossible, somebody else might be like, yeah, duh. So it's all very subjective. Ken said that he knew Andrew's answer, and he said, oh well, if you grew up in the 80s. Then you knew because I guess that character was marketed. I don't know if he had an action figure or something, but I guess he was marketed along with other droids.
Other droids, yeah.
So.
And just for those who don't know, I was born in '85. So by the time I watched Star Wars, I was in the '90s.
He existed for 5 years in that decade, and half of them were spent trying not to poop his pants.
Yeah.
So he doesn't remember much from the '80s. So, obviously he's not going to remember a droid that was marketed in the '80s.
Yeah.
So.
And I remember talking to Alex, and he's like, "Yeah, man, the only reason he knew that is because he had the action figure."
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, so it's all very subjective.
It's very subjective.
Because, Alex said that he knew Andrew's, but he didn't know Ace's.
And I knew
Meanwhile,
Ace's,
and I knew Ace's too.
Yeah.
I'm over there in the living room like, I've been hearing Andrew say the name Voodoo-Pella to me for the past how many months?
6 months.
And every time he said it, I'm like, what are you saying? saying?
It's a droid control ship in the Phantom Menace.
He said it enough to where I was like, all right, well, that's in my brain now too. Yeah. So, I mean, Alex said that he had no idea Aces. Ken said he had no idea what Aces was.
But he knew
Both
mine.
of us did. But they knew Andrew's and they didn't know his. Yeah. But we did know his. So it's all very subjective, and it just sucks when you get hit in a blind spot. But it happens, and it happens to the best of them.
And it happened, and it just sucks that it's the Laura Kelly match
all over
again. It's like, and they started reading the question. It's like, okay, they might.
I thought they were going one way.
I thought they were going one way, and then it's like, then they make a complete left turn. And it's like, and they asked for something that's just in my blind spot. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And Ben Bateman said as much because I went on to the Gucciverse after my match.
Went into the Gucciverse.
I went into the Gucciverse, and we had all of our faction mates and all the legends of the game. We had Roca on, Merle, Riley, Bateman. They are all jumping on, and they're all like, "Yeah, we want."
It's happened to us too, brother.
It's happened to us too. They are like, "We wanted this to be a celebration, but we want to be here for you," and saying that you can point at every single one of us on the screen right now, and you can say, "That happened to me. Mm-hmm. That happened to me. That happened to me," and it sucks to lose in that fashion, and to get so close for a second
after so much preparation.
It sucks because as of right now, I've competed in 3 number 1 contender matches, and all of them
comes down to the wire,
down to the final question, and it sucks. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and people want to poke fun and like, oh, look at him, he's sulking. It's like, yeah, I am.
Do you know how much time?
I spent 6
blood,
months,
sweat, and tears.
I spent 6 months. Hours upon hours of uncompensated time. This is time of my own personal time. I could be doing other things. I could be watching other things. We could be going on a date night or watching a movie as a date in quarantine date night. But we're studying instead of that, and that's the type of stuff that people very often forget.
Yeah.
That to be competitive in these divisions, that's the kind of work you have to put in.
I did see. I don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe I shouldn't bring this up. I don't know.
What?
But I did see a person or two in the Facebook group be like, oh, I miss the days when the Schmoedown was just about people having natural knowledge and it wasn't just about studying and memorization. It kind of takes the fun out of it. And I'm like, natural knowledge because I'm born knowing 88 in my brain.
Yeah. And to that argument, then, you can watch another trivia show because this is the game now. This is absolutely.
I mean, when the stakes get higher, the further we get into it, the more competitive people get, the more people enter into it that are just wired for this kind of thing. Yeah, it's going to get more competitive. And if you think that these people don't sit at home and study,
wow. What do you think?
Wow.
You want to look me in the eye and tell me that Dan Merle and John Roca aren't studying right now?
And even in just a Star Wars division, you want to look me in my face and tell me that Laura Kelly and Joseph Scrimshaw, you're telling me that these people, Ace, Andres Cabrera, you're telling me these people don't sit at home and actually put forth the effort to study?
Yeah.
And they just, just conjure answers from the back of their brain naturally?
And I would argue, too, those same people, like, I wish it's like they love matches like this. You don't get matches like the one with me and Ace. You don't get the matches with me and Scrimshaw, Laura Kelly, and Ace. You don't get matches like that unless we study. Mm-hmm. Other than if that wasn't the case, we'd be missing questions in the first round, and second round. I mean, God, it's like I can count on like one hand how many questions I missed in this entire tournament.
Yeah,
and it's 3. I'm pretty sure it's 3
on paper or.
On paper, officially
in my headcanon.
Officially, I've missed 3 questions.
Okay.
In this entire tournament. Mm-hmm. So if you don't like watching matches like this, then sure.
I kind of understand what they're saying, because there are some people that are just like savants, like your Dan Merles and your Bibianis. But if you're going to tell people don't study because it sucks the fun out, then you might as well just hand the belts to the same people over and over again, because you're not going to get competitive unless people do prepare for it.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing that Dan Merle doesn't know a lot about movies on his own, but even he studies.
Yeah.
Why the hell? Why do you think he's a 4-time champion? Because he puts in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and there probably are competitors in the league that they might not actually study and they might just watch movies for fun and they just absorb things. But I don't even know how we got here, but I mean,
it's frustrating and annoying that people don't appreciate sometimes I'm not saying everybody doesn't recognize this, but there are sometimes people just don't see the work that goes into preparing for stuff like this.
It would be like
it's unbearable to like, I want to be doing something else right now, but if I want to be competitive in this division, I need to be looking at my notes. I need to be watching this movie. I need to be on Wikipedia and Googling, like, who is this character right here? I need to be doing that stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten this far.
It would be like saying, well, you know, everybody's studying and, you know, just memorizing things and everybody actually studying and buckling down. It sucks the fun out of it. That would be kind of like saying, well, you know, I like football, but I like people that are natural athletes. They shouldn't have to just practice all the time.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have to run drills and practice to be good. I want people that are out there and they're just naturally good at sports.
Do you think Tom Brady got to the way he is with pure, like, just raw talent?
No. The greats of the game get to the way they are because they're studying and they're drilling and they're working. Yeah. You know, there are people that are natural athletes, but not everybody. You can't. And, you know, that's the way the Schmoedown is now. It is, in essence, its own type of sport. And there are mental muscles that you have to flex to become competitive in this sport. Yeah. How did we do this? How do we?
We are the afternoons of the Schmoedown podcast.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Sorry, but back to the match. I mean, I said it as much. I give Ace all the credit in the world because he broke everybody's brackets. Yeah. Even after people were like, "Yep, I mean, I'm done doubting Ace." You're right not to do that because he was able to pull out the victory this time, and
So at some point in December, whenever Spectacular falls, so we'll be seeing Ace go up against Alex Damon for the title.
But there's one thing that we haven't talked about yet that caught me off guard because during my post-match interview, I was like, I actually have some good news for you. You do have a title shot. It's just a matter of when now. Right. So if Ace can't beat Alex Damon, the next person that Alex has to go up against is me. But if Ace beats Alex gets the automatic rematch because
he should.
He's defended it like 3 times, so he gets the automatic rematch. Then after that match, I get the winner of that, whoever has the belt at that time. So it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Really, it's more bitter than sweet. It's bittersweet. Have I been wanting this title shot for the longest time? Yes, but I did not. This isn't exactly how I wanted it, but I'm extremely grateful for it.
Of course.
So now it's no longer a matter of if anymore. It's a matter of when, and matter of who. I would like it to be Alex Damon because I've said it to all these people because I do have to thank everybody that's been giving me so much support the past couple of days of messaging me privately and like, hey man, tough go. It happens to the best of us.
Because it's so easy to get wrapped up on all the negative comments. Yeah, there are so many times where it feels like everything is negative, and what's the point?
Yeah, and people are like, "Yeah, don't hold your head up." It's like I'm gonna harp on this. I'm gonna beat myself up for it because for me it was Alex Damon or bust this year. Because I made I said to Gucci as much like, I promise you draft me, I'll get you that belt, and I want to make good on that promise. And so, however the cards fall next season, whether I'm on the exchange or not, whether he wants to sign me as the protected player or not, I want to let Gucci know right now. I'm probably going to talk to him at the end of the season. I made you a promise. I don't want to play for anybody else but you. I want to make good on that promise. So it is bittersweet that I finally get to contend for the title, but I really wanted to be this year. I really wanted to be against Alex Damon. I really wanted to close out the season challenging Alex for that belt. So but I do want to thank all the people because Kevin Smith messaged me, Ben Goddard messaged me,
Rachel Cushing.
That's the one I really, really have to thank because I've said 3.
I cried reading her message.
I said 3 things to Rachel at the draft. I spent maybe 2 minutes talking to her. I'm like, I love you as a competitor. You're an inspiration to me. You're one of my favorite competitors. You're the GOAT in my eyes. And we said things in passing that we had to go on separate ways. She went out of her way to message me and to say, hey, it's all right if you want to be frustrated. And she had one of the best things to say. It's like, it hurts, but do something you love right now. Yeah. Take your mind out, take the break you need and do something you love. And it sucks because what I love is watching Star Wars. And it's just hard now to watch Star Wars because now it's just when that scene comes up, it's kind of like...
Yeah, anytime we watch the Clone Wars, it's like... Chronos 327.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard, but there's always next season.
Yeah, and with a wise Jedi once said,
and I tweeted this out too. Yeah.
That the greatest teacher failure is, and Lord knows that's true. You learn a lesson from every time you stumble. And then you pick yourself back up and you learn from what made you stumble. And Lord knows we're going to do that. So
yeah,
there might be only one more match this season for Star Wars, but baby boys and baby girls, buckle up for next season, okay?
Yeah, I'm telling you right. Wow. I'm telling you right now. You thought I was hungry this season. You thought I was angry this season. You thought I was scary this season. You better buckle up for next season. This is me putting the rest of the division on hold. I know I automatically go for the title, but after that happens, however it happens, get ready, because you thought I was scary this season. You have no idea how much work we're going to be putting in for the next one, because I'm going to take my break, and it's probably going to be just going to be a couple of days. It might be a week. It might be a month. It's probably going to be closer to a couple of days to a week.
It's not going to be a month. I can guarantee you that.
It's not going to be that long. My break is not going to be long, and we are gunning for it. You thought we went deep this time. Again, I missed 3 questions in this tournament. Technically only 2. As far
as I'm concerned, yeah.
The pain is coming next season. And that's just not for Alex Damon or Ace Cabrera, whoever holds that belt next season. The pain is coming for you. And when after that match happens, everybody else better be on top of their game, because you're going to be playing catch up with me instead of the other way around this time. That's all I'll have to say.
Yep.
So with that,
we learn from our mistakes and we move forward.
Yeah.
But we gonna be moving forward, baby.
And
okay.
Before we get out of here, we have some Patreon questions, because our squadron captains get to dictate the conversation for our weekly shows.
What do we have here?
And we have 2 from one squadron captain, Josh Estes. He actually messaged us today how to say his name. Estes.
So wait,
There's 2.
Oh, okay, so this is a continuation of that one.
Yeah.
So how's about we just do? We'll do this first. We'll do this one first. Josh Estes. Got it. You're awesome, bro. Love you. So Josh says these tournaments have been great. He didn't actually say it like Tony the Tiger. I did. Barbarian looked good with the TKO, but his next match will be his toughest yet, versus Parker or Chance. I believe he will face Parker. I assume Damon meets Kalinowski. It will be his toughest IG match to date. Star Wars final. Wow. Yeah. Andrew, you now have 2 matches that will be up for match of the year. That is a very possible possibility. Hell of a run. We'll bleep that out if we need to. I don't know if that's a kid-friendly
PG-13
bad word. Keep your head up, and remember, the hunt continues on. Thoughts on your draft status now that you have a number 1 contender match to start next season?
Yes, but to correct him, it's a title shot, Josh, not a number one contender match.
It's a title shot. Can I throw in my 2 cents?
Sure.
My 2 cents, not just for Andrew specifically, but my 2 cents, and I could be wrong because I'm not a manager, because I would be terrible. But honestly, even if you have somebody with a guaranteed title shot, I honestly feel that if you're looking for bang for your buck, which is what you should be doing as a manager, I think, unless you have Alex Damon on your team, who is a cross-division player.
Proven cross-division player now.
A proven, yeah. If you have somebody who is solely for Star Wars, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do, that's what you do. Do you, babe. But if you've got somebody who's Star Wars and that's it, if I were a manager, I'd be saving somebody who is like singles and teams. They can go between singles and teams. That way they can do two divisions for me.
2 of those players.
So 2 people that could be singles or teams, and then somebody who can do Inner Geekdom and maybe also singles. Yeah. And maybe also teams.
Or an Alex Damon with an IG and a Star Wars.
Exactly. So. But I, as a manager, if I were a manager, I'd see more value, and no disrespect to the Star Wars competitor, but I would see more point potential value from somebody who can compete in singles, teams, or IG, as opposed to somebody who's only Star Wars. So who knows what's going to happen next season? I would wager that if I was Dagnino, probably not. Andrew is probably not gonna. He might cross his mind, but Andrew, I don't think a title shot is gonna.
Enough, yeah.
I think he'll probably go with people who have more teams, singles, and IG capabilities.
And who knows when? Because it's not. Because Christian Harloff said it as enough. It's not a matter of if anymore. It's when. It could be next year. It could be May by the time I go up for that shot. So.
But who knows? Managers. Maybe there are managers. Maybe Shannon is gonna, or well, no, Shannon's a good example.
Yeah.
Maybe Shannon's gonna be like, no, I'm ride or die for Laura. I'm protecting her, and she could, and to very well.
Her credit, I would say, keep Chance, Mike,
Laura.
That's it, because you have your 2 singles and teams.
And a geek.
2 IG players, and then you have your other specialty player with Star Wars.
So actually, Shannon is pretty set up with those 3 people.
She's really set up with that. Because as far as Dagnino is concerned with the exchange, you have
the 4 horsemen. Craig,
Barbarian, who is proven to be able to compete in multiple divisions. Then me. And then we don't know how Sabrina is going to fare if she does go into the tournament. We have yet to see Gray compete. Cody may or may not compete this season, but like he's in a tough spot. Like, do you keep Bateman? Do you keep Riley? Do you keep the best in the game, Dan Murrell and John Roca right now? Like,
in any case, you can't protect all 4 horsemen, which is the craziest thing.
Yeah, and
the craziest thing to realize.
And if Gucci wants to come to me, it's like, look, man, I guess like I completely understand.
I can't blame you.
I can't blame you.
Definitely can't blame you.
Yeah, just protect those guys and roll your dice to see if you can pick me up in the draft. But like, and I said, and I'm gonna tell him as much before. If you watch this show, and I'll probably end up talking to him on the phone. And some point in the next week or months or whatever, it's like, I don't want to play for anybody else right now. I made you a promise. I want to make good on that promise, and you know that I'm already slated to go for that and bring that for you. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. It's just gonna be curious. I mean, maybe the dungeon wants to roll their dice on me. Who knows?
We'll see.
Because as far as we're concerned, all the other Star Wars competitors that are in their factions, I don't see Roxy parting ways with Alex. I don't see
Shannon parting ways with Laura. Wait, what did I just say?
Yeah.
Shannon with Laura. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I don't see Winston parting ways with Ace now.
Oh, God, no. And Sam with Molly? I mean, I feel like there's some level of like loyalty and allegiance to people that you've invested time in. I mean, granted, there will be shuffles. But I feel like people's gut reaction is to be like, well, you were on my team last year. Yeah, I want you on my team next year. It might not shake out that way.
We'll see what happens.
But
it's too far in the future to worry about that right now. Right now, we're just focused on supporting our team and making sure everybody's like.
We still got a whole lot of season to go.
A whole half season to go. So he had another comment.
He sure did. Mm-hmm. So he said, Josh Estes again.
Estes, thank you.
Thank you. So he said, I also saw this in the Facebook group. I'm sure you'll already be bringing it up. Mm. I really like the new speed round, but I think there's 2 things that could be done to make it even better the next time. Mm. Andrew's first question was asked at 57 seconds, and Ace is at 59 or 58. Maybe the timer should start at 65 seconds to give the announcer time to get ready and start reading question 1 at exactly 60. It got a bit confusing after the round, just reading the answers and then announcing the player's new score, going question by question and saying who got it right, wrong, or passed and could clear things up. All we knew is that you both got the same amount of points. You both got 6.
Yeah.
You had to actually go back and see exactly what y'all missed.
So, I don't want to harp on this. It is what it is.
It happened.
It happens. And that's what I think. That's why they addressed it. Like, all right, we're going to start the timer after the question is asked.
Like I said, there's a couple things. There's 3 things that happened in that match that I do take issue with, but it happened. And like we said before, you learn from your past. So I'm hoping, since it happened and it is what it is, and we're moving on. I'm hoping we can all learn from it.
Yeah, not only learning from our side, but this is the first time they ran this.
Exactly.
So there are gonna be hiccups. There's gonna be things to work on.
Yeah.
And as much as we have to learn from the speed round, the announcers and the staff are like, all right, this is where this needs to be polished up a bit, and they address that. So
yeah.
It happens. It happens.
It happened and it's done, and I'm tired of talking and thinking about it. So hopefully we can improve stuff. I do think theoretically it's a great idea.
And again, I said I had my issues with it because it leaves a lot up to certain things happening, and it takes a little bit of strategy out of the speed round with buzzing in and preventing your opponent from getting points.
It takes away some pressure, but it adds in a different pressure.
But again, at the same time, the speed run, this format of speed run, I almost broke a record with this new format. Mm-hmm. I almost broke a record. I would have gotten 40 points. Had I gotten my 5, I would have gotten 40 points. So there's absolute benefits out of this new speed round. So yeah, thank you, Josh, for your 2 comments, and thank you to our squadron, for all of our squadron captains for their weekly support. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up that.
Probably a good choice.
To wrap it up there.
For me.
So, I think we already said that next week's matches won't happen until the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be the Parker Chance match on Saturday, and it's going to be on the Skybound Expo. So make sure that you go and subscribe to the Skybound channel if you want to watch that.
Check that out.
So that's going to premiere, I think it said 3:30 Pacific time with Skybound for Parker Chance. It's going to be a barn burner, as the kids say. I've never heard that term before the Schmoedown.
Barn burner?
Never.
Really?
Just like I've never really heard heel and face before the Schmoedown.
Oh, okay, well.
Never.
Learn something new.
Never.
Okay.
So it's going to be a barn burner, baby. So that's going to be Saturday. And then Sunday is going to be Zipper Kalinowski at I don't know, somewhere around 2 or 3 Pacific time.
So I've already said that I have Kalinowski over Zipper. Who do you have over for Zipper Kalinowski?
Like I said before, I'm not a gambler, terrible at it. It's why, if you ask about, my picks with Ace and Laura, Ace and Ken, I like what I feel to be sure things. I like to bet based on logic. I like to bet on things like that. So if I'm betting on my logic, I'm going to bet on Mike Kalinowski.
Mike Kalinowski, yeah.
And if I'm wrong, then I'm the jerk. So, it happens. But if I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet on Kalinowski in that match.
And then we have Parker Chance. So this was interesting.
Very interesting matchup.
The one with Parker, he only missed 1 question in his match against Ben Goddard. And it was the Penguin one. And that he just...
the purple hat,
He took a swing and he missed.
Yeah.
And so it's shown that he can bleed, but it's bleeding on a question that
every person bleeds. Nobody has batted a perfect game in every single match they've ever played in.
But still, it's he misses on a very deep cut type of movie. Oh yeah, that's in there. Wow, okay. But Chance looked real good.
He did.
I have.
It's a tough one because it's like your brain tells you, Parker, because that's all you've been hearing.
Yeah.
So it's do you go with Parker or do you go, ooh, maybe we've seen lots of people do things that they shouldn't have been doing this season so far.
Lots of upsets in these tournaments.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of upsets.
It's and
in both
not that Chance is an underdog. He's a former champ. So
well, he played an IG match before.
Yeah.
So he's a newer competitor. Newer. I mean, we've only seen 2 matches in IG so far, and he's done very well.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be closer than people might give Chance credit for.
Yes, I think so.
But I still have Parker edging him out. Just because it's he looks real good.
Honestly,
he looks real good.
My gut tells me that that's the way I should go too.
The 2 matches that we've seen Parker, he looks almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
Nearly unstoppable. So
it's hard not to jump on that hype train.
Parker. But it would not be surprising to see it be a very close match, or if Chance was actually able to outplay him.
My gut tells me the same thing. My gut tells me go with Parker. He's been crazy, and Chance, his usual area of comfort is teams and singles. So my gut tells me to go with Parker. But like Andrew said, I would not be surprised if either we're wrong or it just turns out to be closer than people might think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thank you for joining us on this episode, people. Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you online? Sorry, I almost burped into the mic.
Ew. So you could find me.
I'm I'm trying to be polite to our
You
audio
can find
listeners.
me in St. Louis. Nelly, anybody? No? You can find me on Twitter. I don't know why that just popped into my head. Twitter.com @Dimmy. DIMMMOYYY, baby.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I will be streaming again coming this next week because the tournament is now over. So I'm getting
We
back
find
into
some
that.
extra time on our hands, but
Not a whole
not
lot.
for long.
Well, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter.
Bring in the fire, baby.
Twitter and Twitch @Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio form on wherever you find this podcast on the Beyond the Schmoedown podcast feed, go ahead and rate us, please. It helps out tremendously. And if you feel so inclined to join the Patreon, patreon.com/Andrew and Nicki, become a member of the squadron. Thank you to our squadron captains, Tamor Bada, Ferris Mathana, Joss Estes, and our very new squadron captain.
Oh yeah,
Bedor. So thank you very much for joining us.
Love that.
Welcome
girl.
to the squadron. And thank you again to all our.
I can't wait to one day
supporters.
meet these people in person and just act like we've known each other for years. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's socially acceptable to give people hugs. One day we'll get there.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
But yes,
Because
thank you to all.
You got some hugs coming your way, people.
Thank you to all of our.
Call me General Hugs. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to thank our patrons here.
General Hugs. Say hi to your mother for me.
Thank you to all our patron supporters. Thank you to the squadron. We will be. I know we've been teasing it, but we are going to be taping a new play along with the Wildberries versus the Real Rejects, that live event. So that will be going up very soon. If you want to get that right away, become a member of the squadron. All squad mates get that. So if you're $1, $5, $10, everybody gets it right away. But if you want to see that right away, join the Patreon. You're gonna have to wait until September.
Oh no!
You have to wait till September.
Oh,
if
honey.
you're a member of the public to see that play along.
Oh, honey.
So
but guess what you get to see this month in July? Guess what you get to see this month in July? This month in July, guess what you get?
The Star Wars one.
Star Wars
The Iron
one.
Man match between.
You want to watch me Iron Man with Sam Witwer and Ken Knapsack, baby?
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. So if you want to see that now, join the Patreon.
You want
Or you gotta
to
wait till the end of
be
the month.
blown away to watch that match, all right?
With that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. We'll see you next time.